Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2.
In the midst of thousands of people, Jungkook actually has a lot of places to stand, but his heart always knew where to go. As soon as he saw Taehyung beside him, he immediately approached without hesitation, a simple moment that once again proves that the best comfort is indeed with the person you love the most. Jungkook had been walking leisurely among the other members, while occasionally waving at the fans who filled the arena that night. The purple light from the army light sticks filled the entire corner of the stadium, creating a sea of colors that were so beautiful and warm. The sound of the audience's screams was so loud that it echoed throughout the room, making the atmosphere of the concert feel even more lively. In the midst of all the excitement, Jungkook was actually preparing to stand in the middle position as usual. The staff even gave a small gesture from the side of the stage for the formation to be formed immediately before the main camera again highlighted them. But everything changed in just a few seconds. When Jungkook turned his head to the side, his eyes immediately caught Taehyung's figure standing alone with a small smile to the fans. Taehyung's wind-blown hair looked very beautiful under the light of the lights. His gaze was soft as usual, and his expression looked calm even though thousands of eyes were watching him. For some reason, Jungkook immediately stopped his steps. He was silent for a second. Then, without thinking long enough, he immediately turned and walked over to Taehyung. The moment happened so quickly, but it was captured by a large camera in the stadium. Fans immediately screamed hysterically when they saw Jungkook, who initially wanted to stand in the middle, instead chose to approach Taehyung. Even some of the other members looked at each other with a small smile, as if they were very used to seeing the behavior of the two of them. Jungkook stands right next to Taehyung at a very close distance, then naturally adjusts the position of his body, so that their shoulders are touching each other. Taehyung turned his head for a moment and chuckled. "Why move here?" teases Taehyung quietly. Jungkook just smiled while lowering his head slightly. He didn't answer anything, but the expression on his face already explained everything. His eyes look very warm when he sees Taehyung, as if being near Taehyung was enough to make him feel comfortable. Fans who witnessed the moment were immediately crowded on social media. Many say that Jungkook is always unconsciously looking for Taehyung in the crowd. Even when there are a lot of people around them, Jungkook will still walk closer to Taehyung as if it's already a natural habit. And that night again proved everything. When the MC started talking to the audience, the members were asked to stand more neatly so that the camera could take pictures of the whole group. Jungkook actually has a lot of space in the middle, but he still chooses to be by Taehyung's side. Every now and then he turned his head to Taehyung with a small smile, then laughed as Taehyung started joking with the other members. There is one small moment that makes fans even more emotional. When Taehyung retreated slightly because he wanted to make room for the other members, Jungkook immediately shifted closer again without realizing it. His movements were so spontaneous that many people who watched him felt adorable themselves. It's as if Jungkook's body automatically wants to stay near Taehyung at any time. He really doesn't want to be far away, wrote one fan on social media. Another added, "The way Jungkook always looks for Taehyung everywhere is really heartwarming." Meanwhile, Taehyung looks very relaxed in the face of all that. He occasionally glanced at Jungkook with a gentle little smile. There was no awkwardness at all between them. Their togetherness looked so natural, like two people who already understand each other very well without needing to say much. The concert that night continued to be lively. Loud music filled the stadium. Fireworks began to decorate the night sky, and BTS members ran to various sides of the stage to greet fans. But in the midst of all that busyness, the camera repeatedly captures Jungkook, who is back to approach Taehyung. Sometimes they walk side by side. Sometimes Jungkook suddenly laughs because of Taehyung's joke. Sometimes they just stood still while watching the ocean of armies together. Such a simple moment actually feels very special for the fans. Not because of anything excessive, but because their closeness looks sincere and comfortable. Many people believe that the most beautiful relationships are indeed seen in the little things that are done unconsciously. And Jungkook showed that tonight. On the sidelines of the concert, Taehyung had time to speak to the audience while expressing his gratitude because ARMY always supports them. His voice sounded soft and full of sincerity. As Taehyung spoke, Jungkook stood beside him while watching with a calm gaze. Even when the other members started joking with themselves, Jungkook was still focused on watching Taehyung speak. His facial expressions made many fans even more emotional. There was a sense of warmth and awe that was evident from the way Jungkook looked at Taehyung. A fan who was present in person at the stadium even said that their aura that night was completely different. According to him, Jungkook looks much more cheerful when he is near Taehyung. Her smile was more loose, her laughter was heard more often, and her eyes looked very happy. Maybe it's because for Jungkook, being around people who make him comfortable is the simplest thing that can make his day feel perfect. The concert was getting closer to the end when the closing song began to play. The entire stadium was filled with the singing of fans who sang along with BTS. The atmosphere felt very emotional. Many armies began to cry because they didn't want the night to end. In the midst of this emotional moment, Jungkook and Taehyung stood side by side again. Taehyung raised his hand to wave a hello to fans, while Jungkook quietly turned his head towards him with a small smile. The gaze was clearly caught by the large cameras in the stadium and instantly made the entire arena fill with hysterical screams. Jungkook then laughed in embarrassment when he realized his face appeared on the screen. Taehyung laughed as he nudged Jungkook's shoulder slowly. The small interaction was very simple, but it felt very warm. As if in the midst of all the busyness, busy schedules, and highlights of the world, they still find comfort with each other. And maybe that's the reason why Jungkook subconsciously always walks up to Taehyung. Not because of the camera, not because they want to be noticed, but because his heart did feel the most comfortable there. The night finally ended with a sea of purple light slowly fading. The members began to leave the stage one by one, while continuing to wave to the fans. But before getting off the stage, Jungkook walked again beside Taehyung. And as always, he chooses to stay close to his loved ones. As soon as he saw Taehyung walking on the left side of the backstage hallway, Jungkook immediately accelerated his steps. Without saying anything, he stood right next to Taehyung again. Taehyung, who realized that, just smiled slightly while glancing at Jungkook for a moment. His face looked a little tired after the long concert, but that gentle smile still didn't go away. Jungkook then adjusted steps to walk parallel to Taehyung. They don't talk much, but the atmosphere between them felt very comfortable. Sometimes the closest relationship is not always filled with words. Presence alone is enough to calm the heart. When they arrived at the backstage break room, the other members immediately sat back and drank water and joked about various funny moments during the concert. Hoseok laughed out loud when he saw the footage of himself almost slipping on the stage earlier, while Jimin was busy teasing Jungkook, who had misspelled the lyrics several times because he was too excited. "We were so excited," Jimin said with a laugh. Jungkook just smiled shyly as he covered his face for a while. But what made the members laugh again was the fact that Jungkook still sat next to Taehyung, even though there were still many empty chairs in the room. Namjoon shook his head slowly while smiling. "You can't go far," he joked. Taehyung immediately chuckles at the remark, while Jungkook pretended to be busy opening his drinking bottle to hide his embarrassment. But her ears that started to turn red made everyone tease them even more. "Look, Jungkook is embarrassed," Jin said with a satisfied laugh. "Hyung," Jungkook protested slowly. The backstage room was immediately filled with the sound of warm laughter. Even though it was just a simple joke, the atmosphere felt very pleasant. Everyone could see for themselves how Jungkook was always unconsciously approaching Taehyung. And it is not something made up. Too many fans and other members have witnessed Jungkook's little habit.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day.